Hello, Cheryl. You're on.
Oh, hello. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm
Um,
doing well, thanks.
um, guys, in case you never heard of, she's the mother of Dyson, and, Dyson. You said he made up the term "princess boy," and
Yes,
and I,
that
I
came from him.
and I first heard that from the media. Before we get to that, can you talk a little about yourself besides your mom of two? You speak in conference, etc. You go on teaching people how to have tolerance, etc.
Yeah, so my husband and I have two boys. They're now 12 and 9. And Dyson, my youngest, at a very young age, was interested in all things pink and dressy and pretty, and so he sort of coined the term "my princess boy." And I had some challenges with dealing with a male in traditional, what we would
Mm.
call traditional girl clothing and things like that. And then my older son finally one day just, said to me, "Why can't you just let him be happy?"
Mm.
And at that moment, I realized that this was my issue. It wasn't really my children's issue, and that I was there as a parent to guide them, but also to support and love them for who they are. So now
Yep.
I do travel the country internationally as well, talking about acceptance and teaching about my acceptance curriculum and
You even wrote a book about it.
helping the world kind of moving forward. Yeah.
And you wrote that book yourself, or he wrote it and you published it?
No, I wrote the book myself. It's actually based. It's a nonfiction book, so it's a true story, and it uses real images. So I had a friend of mine who's an illustrator, sort of make whimsical pictures of actual photographs, and then I took some journal entries that I put together, which now became the My Princess Boy book.
Wow. And the site is myprincessboy.com.
Yes.
And the book itself, it's awesome, and even the illustration, etc. And I wish it wasn't pricey. It's like yeah. I guess it must cost a lot to get a book done, etc. How long did it take you to do the
Well,
book, though?
how long did it take me to write it?
Yeah, must have taken
Well,
a long time.
originally, my story is a little different because originally it wasn't set up to be a book per se. I used to call it a prototype. It was just I needed some sort of tool to hand to any adults or teachers or anybody who had spent time with Dyson to know that we were okay with him being who he is. And I didn't want other adults or other people in society to crush his spirit. And so this became sort of my selfish tool to let them know within 60 seconds that we accept him, we want you to accept him, and then it just sort of dominoed by word of mouth, and then we ended up putting it. Speaking at our local NBC station here and going on with one of their talk shows, and from that point on, it went worldwide, and we couldn't keep up with demand. So we worked
Wow.
with Simon and Schuster, who stepped up and said, this is an important message. It's really about acceptance. It's so much more than about a boy in a dress. It's really about all of us having that fundamental need to be accepted.
Wow. And so besides the book and all this, so what exactly is how did this start with your son Dyson? Because
Well,
this must have
when he
taken
was
years.
about, almost 2 years old, he started gravitating towards things that were pink and dress up, wearing, kind of cinching my shirts in the waist and kind of making them into dresses and things like that. And we didn't have a daughter. I was what you would call a tomboy. Played a lot of sports growing up, and really am not the most of I don't wear dresses a whole lot, and so I was sort of thrown by where that was coming from. And then if we'd go to the toy store, he would be in sort of the pink aisle and all the dolls and other son would be in the action figure aisles and things like that. So it was very different in the beginning. And I think my initial reaction was to do some soft redirection. We're an African American family, and raising African American males is our job as moms, and to raise strong black men, and so I think I was conflicted inside about this. Consequently, my husband and my older son were very supportive of Dyson and the things that he enjoyed and liked. So it started very, very early. And then when he was about 3.5, that's when things started, when he was at preschool and things like that, things started kind of going out more publicly. So you have one thing that sort of starts in your home and at stores and things like that, but then when they start to do social events and interact with other kids and you have other parents around, then all of a sudden it sort of becomes more of a public thing. And Dyson, you can see in some of the pictures and video clips online when you Google, he is a happy kid. He's just a very, very happy child to live his life and live in his light, and he does that very well. So it just sort of went from there.
Yeah, and unfortunately you took it well. Some people they didn't take it so well, and then eventually if things get better and they actually change their way of thinking. Because when I couldn't not do that stuff when I was little, I'm gonna be honest, I cannot do that because my parents would yell the crud out of me, and they were really harsh too, and at times, unfortunately they didn't hit me, but they would not take it well. Today they still don't take it well, and I even when I was in high school, I think it was junior year, I dressed up as Miss Claus for Halloween, and I know it was the wrong holiday, but it was like the first time I think I dressed up as in a women's costume, and 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 that was insane. And the thing is, after that, freshman, I believe I dressed up as, you're not gonna believe it, I was Mary, I believe, and it was actually a really big costume. But even more, it's about having fun. You're not trying to be up anybody's face, but I was like the highlight of the party. But the thing is, when it comes to having parents, I wish my parents were like you guys, where it doesn't matter what your kids will do, but as long as you still love them, that's good, because in the long run, when he's my age, when he's like 20, maybe 8 or 10 years from now, he'll be like, oh, my mom loves me for who I am, no matter what, and so he'll remember that. So as long as you just keep on loving him and accepting him, same goes with your husband and with your other son, then he'll remember you. And so and the thing is that it was, for me, it was more worse, because even I would upload maybe on Facebook or Instagram, my parents, like, in a way, made me take it down. I'm not sure if they blackmailed, but they made me take down any pictures of that because they thought it was gay. So, like, I'm sure you got many more reactions, much more worse than that, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think, first off, kudos to you for being who you are and doing your.
No, but I'm not talking about sexuality. I'm just trying to increase the people that want to express themselves. I don't believe I'm gay, but people would think that, and that's what they would think. But, like, I'm not one to bully others, and it's like society. You have to, like, go along with it, and otherwise they wouldn't want to talk to you. You lose friends. I'm sure you got much worse than that. But since he was a little kid, it was not as worse, actually, in some ways.
Yeah,
Because he's a little kid. What are you gonna? He's not. It's when you get older, that's the problem.
Real, families and friends and things like that, and it does get tough. I think the biggest thing that my message is, because I didn't start out of the gate in such an accepting way.
No one's born bad or born good. It's how you're raised. Really, that's the real deal on that.
Yes. Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is knowing the difference between acceptance and agreement, right? So what Dyson needs from me and from society and the world is to be accepted for who he is.
Doesn't mean you're
He doesn't
promoting
necessarily
anything.
need
It
us
just
to
means you're
agree
respecting him,
with what
acknowledging him as
he's
a human
doing,
being.
just like we don't need people to agree with everything that we're doing. But at the fundamental level, no matter how old you are and what you're doing in life, all of us want to be accepted for who we are. That's
It doesn't matter if it doesn't matter if it's even dressing or what costume you dress for Halloween. It could also be religion too, because you don't want to discriminate atheists. You don't want to discriminate Christians. You don't want to discriminate someone with their political views. You don't want to discriminate anybody like any culture-wise.
Exactly.
Because eventually it'll come down.
You make a good point that acceptance goes both ways, right? So I also need to accept those parents out there who completely disagree with the way I'm raising my son.
Yeah, they think you're really nuts.
I need to, right? But I don't need to agree with them. But I do need to accept their point of view.
Yeah, in a way, it's a First Amendment. You have to give them the right to express themselves. With people as horrible as the Westboro Baptist Church, we have a First Amendment in the Constitution to freedom of speech. I just don't go protesting people's funerals. That's just no. But any speech, it's important to be able to express that yourself. But if just don't incite violence, don't incite to kill anybody or anything like that. But Voltaire once said that if he doesn't, I may not agree with what you say, but I will fight to the death for your right to say it. I don't know if you've heard of that quote.
No. I mean, I think, at the end of the day, you can imagine if we were spending, less energy on all of these disagreements and things that are actually taking lives and really turn it around to, I don't agree with that, but I accept you. We could be focusing our energy on other things.
Of course. And instead of just going at each other, and besides, the media got so much attention from this, but I don't hear much of it being talked about now. Am I wrong?
Well, I think, what we did was, I have to balance, obviously, that these are children as well, and I have to balance that they have a right to their privacy. My children were never going down the path of being in the spotlight. That wasn't their mission, and at least it isn't right now. And, I need to respect that. So my theory became, how can I help with the most impact? How can I provide people with tools to foster conversations of acceptance? Because I have to be honest, if it is about me and about my family, then I think I'm missing the mark. My mission is clear. It really is so that I can provide any sort of tool or service that allows you to have a conversation about accepting differences. And if it's more about me, then I become more celebrity, and my kids become more celebrity, and that's really that doesn't help us change the world.
It would only mean to exploit them, which is actually it might cause any emotional or mental difficulties, actually, because if he doesn't want to be in the spotlight and he's forced to, it kind of reminds me in a way of like maybe Disney or MTV, where they force very young people to be in the spotlight. It's just in your own perspective, it's just a no-no. But
it's again accepting what their wishes are. Dyson loves to be on television. He loves to be a part of it, but he also loves to be a kid and have his friends and do his thing. His mission is not my mission. It's the same with my husband. So, I do balance that very well. You'll notice that, my kids aren't on a whole lot of talk shows or TV. They were on a certain number, and that was all planned. And, we do have to balance that as parents.
So recently, you just chose you just didn't want to be on TV recently?
No, we've been in discussions back and forth with television and interviews, and I do several interviews. But a lot of the time, my time is focused on talking about the acceptance curriculum with my co-author, Lorraine Gaunt, and really helping teachers and doctors and everyone who has time with young students and children to really kind of go through activities of how to live a life of acceptance and how to train with acceptance. So, but, my Princess Boy continues to sell very well. It's actually a book that sells well amongst adults as well, because when you read it, you realize that it's also about you. As no matter what age you are. I was in the grocery store the other day, and a woman who was 79 pulled me aside and said, "Aren't you the Princess Boy's mother?" And
Whoa.
I said, "Yes." And
Starstruck.
And she said, "I really thank you. I wish your book was around when I was raising my son, and I wouldn't have forced him to play with trucks."
Oh.
And she had tears in her eyes. I mean, parents don't want to hurt their kids.
They want what's best for their kids.
When we choose that, we really want the best for them. And sometimes the best for them is not, hindering or punishing them for who they are, but accepting them for who they are.
And supporting decisions they make, as long as they're good and healthy decisions, that is. But,
yes.
Hopefully, you can hear Dyson speaking in these conferences, because I don't hear I don't hear that much about him unless he's with you. But this is from TED, and this is a conference, and you
After
were
she read it, she apologized.
I'm sure this was many years ago, and you even compared.
It's tribal.
You didn't compare FDR,
back in caveman days,
as a girl.
If somebody was coming towards you that looked different than you,
and that's actually true.
There's pictures of FDR dressed up in dresses.
And that guy was a president.
That's right. I mean, you even have, our hip hop artists, P. Diddy, and, wearing kilts and things like that. So, I think as society, we obviously are the ones that kind of set the tone of what we think is right and wrong. But when it comes to people and their expressions, we should allow it and do the best we can to support them. But we do have, I often tell people, when you are struggling with accepting something, you should ask yourself two questions. One is, why do you feel this way? So really kind of doing that deep dive.
It's also, like I said before, it's more about culture, too. It's also about generation, because my parents' generation was obviously like that. And I'm sure your parents, I don't know how it was back then. They were probably not as tolerant as you. So it depends on the...
It's one of those things, you're right. And that's part of, so where did that come from? Well, it came from my parents. It came from culture. It came from these things. And then the second question is it harming anyone? For Dyson to be in a dress, or for Dyson to like a certain toy, did that harm anyone? And
this is on,
the answer is no.
Yeah, this was on What Would You Do with John Quinones, and...
Yeah, that was based off of our story as well. And when they had the African American child.
So I don't care.
Exactly. You're exactly right.
You actually got to meet him, like Ian? Or it's just a story based on you, but did you actually get to meet him?
It was based on us. Oh. Yeah, we talked with them about it before it was done.
Oh.
Yeah.
So besides speaking conferences, is there any recent projects besides you? Because you're on a busy schedule. It was actually hard for you to be on today. So I thank you for being on.
We're training. We are the acceptance curriculum. You can find that online at My Princess Boy, and that is it's a workbook type of thing that kind of helps you read books about accepting differences on all kinds of levels. It's really working out well to have a little more fun, a little less sort of directional, a little more openness about a conversation of acceptance. So I've been doing a lot of that work as well. And then, our second children's book will be coming out. It's kind of a second edition of My Princess Boy. It really talks about, the role of his brother being what I call an acceptance champion, somebody who steps up, says something, does something. It's a little more than the role of the bystander, but it's actually sort of saying something that's positive. So it's really not necessarily just saying something to someone about it, but it's more making a positive comment that really is starting to take away the negativity and the stigma that goes with differences that people don't agree with.
Oh, so I wish you could hear. You think Dyson will speak like maybe when he's 18? Because I wanted to get you or your husband or your sons, yes, in particular
I'm
Dyson,
sure he
but he's
will.
in school.
I mean, he's in school, obviously, so he's in school right now. But
So hopefully I'll be back in August. So
time and he likes it, and he definitely loves to talk about what he likes and accepts others when they don't like it. So I think he's teaching us a lot. So the more we can listen to our children, the more we'll probably learn.
Yep. What advice would you give to other parents besides just accepting your children?
The thing that I often say is to really, take a breath, because it's really parenting is a difficult challenge, especially when something challenges you and what your beliefs are, and what you're sort of balancing being a guide versus being a controller. So I often say to be kind to yourself as a family that might be going through something, or even kids trying to show their families or their parents about how to be accepting. And then the other piece is really try to get some information, do that deep dive about why it is that you feel the way you feel. Everybody's feelings are valid. It's important to acknowledge that, but you do have a human being on the other side here that is craving for you to accept them. And the one thing that is a deal breaker for me is youth suicide. The fact that children are taking their lives because they're not accepted for who they are is unacceptable. As parents, it's our responsibility to show and always prove that our children are loved. So that's where I would say to start.
Yeah. And hopefully maybe things will change. And besides the book, I'm sure. Do you think Dyson would speak in a conference, or not till another few years?
Yeah, no, I think it depends. I know they both. A lot of times our family travels together, so depending on the circumstances and the situation, I am a protective mother, so I want to make sure that they are protected. But absolutely, he is not ashamed by any imagination of who he is, and neither is his father or his brother or myself. So anytime he can express that, he certainly will. I appreciate the time to be able to chat with you.
It's awesome having you. Before you go, what would you like to say to everyone who's listening, besides the parents, even some people who aren't parents, most likely? What would you like to say to everybody who's listening?
Well, I would say, today, take a challenge and something that a person that does something different or expresses themselves differently, I would say I would challenge you to tell that person that you accept them for who they are. Start there and see how that conversation goes and how that feels.
It sucks like you couldn't be on for longer. I appreciate you for being on. Hopefully in August you can be on with the rest of your family somewhere. Thank you for being on, Cheryl.
Yeah, take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you, too.
Bye.
Bye. Wow. Who knows? That, you don't have to agree with anybody. You don't have to like what they do, but you just have to acknowledge them for the right to exist. And if not, then they're no friends or family of yours. No, I'm not suggesting anything, but I do suggest free will, right to express yourself. Don't discriminate anybody. Come on, society. Is this what we're coming out to? Some things are changing, but that's not enough. We all gotta change as a species, no matter what you look like, Come on, people.